In Florida, when a pedestrian steps into the crosswalk, they're going to have the right-of-way. You know, there's a couple of exceptions. If they step into the path of a car who's already committed and, you know, they suddenly step into the path of a car, or they're walking against the light. But otherwise, the pedestrian does have the right-of-way. But I think what too many people do is they assume that when they step into the crosswalk as a pedestrian, the cars will stop. And you simply can't make that assumption. I think the safest thing that a pedestrian can do in Florida to prevent being hit by a vehicle in the crosswalk is to make sure that you don't go if a vehicle is approaching and they're not making the sign to you that they're stopping. The vehicle is slowing, the nose is dipping, they're clearly slowing down, they've made eye contact. I've talked to many pedestrians who thought that a car was going to stop but didn't. Or I've talked to pedestrians who made eye contact with the driver and presumed the driver saw them and was stopping, but the driver didn't. So as a pedestrian, the consequences of being hit are so great. My recommendation is you don't step into the crosswalk until you know for a fact the car sees you and they're stopping. The other thing you can do is you have to kind of have your head on a swivel. I know that you're not at fault and I know that you've got the right-of-way, but you can't assume that cars turning left or turning right from the intersection have actually stopped or have seen you. You have to be constantly alert to the fact that they may be not even recognizing that you're there. So you have to be proactive in terms of looking around to make sure that someone isn't coming against you. And finally, when you're walking across 2 or 3 lanes of traffic, you've got the first car is stopped. Be very careful that you don't step into the path of a car on the other side of that first one who's coming through the open lane, not paying attention to the stoplight or not paying attention to the fact that you may be in the walk lane yourself. So these they don't put the burden on the pedestrian, they don't put the burden on you that you're somehow at fault for the accident. It's just that these are self-defensive mechanisms that I recommend that everyone use when they're walking in Florida.